let's do an early look, a preview, if you will, of Ohio State versus Michigan. And I could not be more excited for this rivalry this weekend. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because, well, we make shows pretty regularly here. I dare say every day save one over the last, 4 months. So I could get into that, but I won't waste your time with that. I would love to talk with you about ball and what this game this week means for everybody, okay? So Ohio State got a demonstrative, dominant win against an Indiana team that I still think is a very good football team. It's just Ohio State is that much better and that much more talented, as was on display in their 38-15 shellacking of Indiana. We got to see it coming from all sides. We got to see an efficient Will Howard. We got to see Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson do what they do. We got to see Jeremiah Smith do what he does. And my favorite, and I'm sure a lot of Buckeyes' favorite, was Caleb Downs returning a punt return for a touchdown. No. It was the defense coming up with a dominant performance and a pass rush for the first time it feels like all damn year. 5 sacks of Curtis Work, who could not move at all, could not operate. 8 of 18 in that game. That offense was stuck in mud because that is where Ohio State put it. And as soon as they got done doing this, I love this most, right? Nobody understands the fan base and what a rivalry game means more than Ohio State players who ain't got no gold pants. That is this last crop of Buckeyes who plan to go to the NFL next year and returned this year to do exactly this. It has been, since 2019, a Michigan series of victories. A lot of reasons as to why, right? At the top of the list, Connor Stallions, right? Dude was cheating. Dude was hiring other people to cheat. We're still trying to figure out whether or not the NCAA is going to get to stick them with what and how. But we know that to be the case. It still does not make it feel any better for Buckeye fans. Doesn't make it feel better for Brian Day, who is 1-3 against Michigan and would probably never gets the opportunity ever to beat Jim Harbaugh at Michigan in his career again. Okay, so now we're on to Ohio State playing this Michigan team that looks like it has found a pulse here of late, but does not look like it is anywhere near the talent that it was last year. Still got some dudes, but I think we got to start with Michigan and get to Ohio State by talking about Bryce Underwood, a guy that we thought was going to be committed to LSU until the cows came home. Well, that changed quick, fast, and in a hurry. And there are some reasons as to why. FaceTiming with Tom Brady and being able to seal the deal. A secret visit for Underwood where he got to shadow Sherrone Moore as he's going around, probably talking about what kind of a quarterback he thinks Bryce Underwood could be and how they ain't really got no quarterback there. And it would probably be your job if you just showed up and please take this bag of money from us and please save us from who we are about to become by coming here. Please come to this school that is 30 miles away or 30 minutes away and do not go down south once again to make me look this bad. It's only my year 1 here. I would really love a win in year 2, and that win would be flipping Bryce Underwood, which they succeed in doing. Now, we're at the part where, like most people, once you flip your commitment, and I say this about Julian Lewis, Colorado, we're just going to wait for you to sign. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just going to wait for you to sign. We learned this with Dylan Raiola, right? Dylan Raiola was committed to Ohio State till he wasn't, committed to Georgia till he wasn't, signs with Nebraska. That's where he played football. So we'll wait. But for the time being, that is the win for Michigan. Savor it. Enjoy it. Love it. Because I don't see you getting no win against this Buckeye team. Not only are they more talented than you, they are out for blood. They want not out for blood, your blood. They want your blood. They want your Wolverine bodies to show to their fan base who has been giving them the business for the better part of half a decade, 5 years of this, and it's got to come to an end for them. Jack Sawyer didn't even want to talk about beating Indiana immediately after beating Indiana because he knows that the team up north is all it's about. That's what we doing here. We don't care nothing about none of that. None of that. I don't care about no 10-0 Indiana. I don't care about no college football playoff. I don't care about no getting to the Big Ten championship to beat Oregon. I care about beating Michigan and inject that into my veins. I love that because it's one thing to love what you do. It is quite another to want to see your enemy down by your hand. And that is what Ohio State is working on right now. And frankly, I don't think Michigan is that hungry because they've been eating well. Michigan ain't needed to feel hungry for some time. Michigan been getting W's. Michigan got a national championship. I'm saying they the 3-time reigning Big Ten champ. Ain't going to be this year, but that don't matter. Ohio State been having to deal with that. So now you got a Jack Sawyer leading the pass rush that got 5 sacks of Curtis Work in that game with a back end that didn't get exposed. Thought Denzel Burke was going to get worked. He did not. But when I talk to folks about, the margin of victory is going to be large, I'm like, not as large as you think. It's going to get larger than that. Whatever you think it is, add 21 points to it, and then they might get close. My favorite story about this is Ohio State led Michigan 50-14 in 1968. Woody Hayes, having seen his team just score 7 to go, up, 50-14, went for 2. They got the 2. And they asked him, why did you go for 2? And he said, because I couldn't go for 3. He hated Michigan, and he wanted everybody to know it, and he wanted everybody in that building to know it, and he wanted everybody in Columbus to know it, and he wanted everybody in the state of Ohio to know it. We don't mess with them. They don't mess with us. It's Hatfields. It's McCoys. It's Crips. It's Bloods. It's Texas. It's Texas A&M. It's Oklahoma, Texas. I love that. I love that so much. And now that has been basically what the program is about for the better part of 100 years, we got into it where Ryan Day finally has a program that we think can go win the national championship for the first time since 2020, right? Going back to 2022, they beat that Georgia team. They're probably going to win the national championship. This feels like the year where they got to get it done. They spent $20 million on this roster. They add Quinshon Judkins, Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Smith, who is him at wide receiver. Best wide receiver in the conference, and it's not close. That dude has 899 receiving yards on 52 catches. Leads the Buckeyes in receiving as a freshman. And that is saying something, as the Buckeyes have been making first-round draft picks because it's their job. Like, that's what Brian Hartline has been doing. Emeka Egbuka should be a first-round draft pick this year. He leads the team in catches with 56, but just 692 yards receiving because they ain't really had to do that much. And when they have, it's been in games like Indiana where they need to do this showcase thing to show people what they're working with and what they got. Both of those guys got 9 receiving TDs. One of the 2 best tandems, I think, at receiver in the sport. I mentioned Caleb Downs as an X factor. Putting him back to return punts was chef's kiss on that, man. I wanted to see that guy go both ways, either running back or wide receiver, because I know that you got that. Now that we've seen Travis Hunter make that more of a thing, I would love to see Caleb Downs get more run like that, but I'll take the punt return for a TD because, well, you need him being your goddamn pterodactyl back there, making it happen. That dude is sideline to sideline. But when he ain't, Latham Ransom is. And when Latham Ransom has been hitting people, he's been sticking people. Latham Ransom has 3 forced fumbles this season, while Sonny Styles got 71 tackles to lead him, and we're looking at Cody Simon's got 5 sacks from the Mike linebacker position. We're looking at JT Tuimalau, who's got 6 from his edge position. And Michigan just, you're looking to get bowl eligible, and I can't tell you how much sweeter it would be for Ohio State to beat Michigan and to keep them out of bowl eligibility unless they got them good grades. And ain't nothing like having to worry about having to rely on your good grades to get into the club. You want to get into the club because that's who you are. That's what you do. That's what it's about. But at 5 and 7, they're going to have them good grades. And, the bowl sponsors going to want them because Michigan, they travel well and they can sell the tickets. But we know you ain't earned that. You know what I'm saying? We know you ain't get to 500 to earn that. Can you do it against Ohio State? Ohio State's looking at you like, hell no, you can't. We're not going to let you. They also got a real hole at quarterback. Like, the way I want to look at this is Davis Warren has 1,000 yards passing. Granted, he ain't played every snap, but you get the point there. What I find funny about this is that he has thrown more interceptions than TDs, 7-6, and Will Howard ain't thrown more than 6 in the season, but it's more than that. It's this offense that has just been garbage. It's been trash. They've scored 31 TDs this season. For perspective, Texas, a team they played, has scored 60. And they've taken their foot off the gas, too. They got a lot of backup not playing 4 quarters. You know what I'm saying? It could be a lot more than it is. They also are relying on Khalil Mullings to be the bell cow, man, as, the cover boy, the video game cover man, that is Donovan Edwards, has been disappointing for yet another year. We're talking about 578 rush yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and just 4 rush TDs. But he's historically been really great against Ohio State, so maybe that's what it takes for him to be reaching his talents, right? Colston Loveland is a dude, but he's the only dude on that offense that we trust as a skill player to go make plays. And they got a dude in Josiah Stewart that I think can absolutely play on Sundays and should probably be a first-round draft pick when it all gets said and done. But this game is about legacy for Ohio State players, about legacy for Ryan Day, who does not want to have Highway 161 in Ohio renamed for him. 1, 6, and 1. Perspective here is John Cooper is a punchline at Ohio State, and he's won twice as many games against Michigan as Ryan Day has as head coach. You can't have that and be the head coach at Ohio State. They're not going to tolerate it. It's just not going to go down. We got people talking about putting him in a hot seat if he doesn't win the national championship, let alone a loss to Michigan. He might get fired before they leave the building. That's just what it is at that place, and he understands that better than anybody else. That said, Jim Knowles needs to be on the short list for Broyles Award winner, what that defense has done, especially since giving up 32 to Oregon in their only loss. They've shut everybody down. Some teams have been able to move the football, but you can't punch it in. It's just not been a thing. It's not happening for you. I can't wait to see what the scoreboard is going to look like. I am going to say, I'm going to get ahead of the preview segment that we're going to do a little later this week and say, I think it's going to be Ohio State by a bunch.